So I'm surrounded by devices, even when my office isn't torn apart in the state. You're surrounded by devices too. They are brilliant for us as writers, brilliant in countless, I'm going to go in myriad ways, but they're also kind of dreadful in one. They will not shut up. We need to write, and we are getting continual, practically continuous, maybe even contiguous interruptions with bleeps, vibrations, red number badges, all of this stuff. It would be so good if there were a button where we could just tap it and say, enough already. At least for those times when we really need to get on with our writing. It would be so good to get rid of that constant nagging. By the way, do subscribe to 58 Keys or press the like button or join me on Patreon as well. But anyway, stopping interruptions. Let's call them interruptions. One word to cover it all for it. Stopping interruptions. You can stop them. And you know you can, because across there, the iPhone, the Mac, the iPad, everything, there are these things called focus modes. These things called focus modes that if you're already using them, well, you could have told me, couldn't you? Swipe down to get control center, tap the icon next to the word focus, and you are immediately in a calming, restful focus mode on your iPhone, on your iPad, on your Mac, all of it together. Actually, specifically, when you tap the icon, you're in the last one you used. And if you've never fiddled with this, well, that last one will be the default, the provided do not disturb one. When you have fiddled, well, then you can instead tap on the word focus rather than the icon and get this list of all the focus modes that you've fiddled about with, really. And that's it. It's just, I want a kind of extreme writing focus mode. I want no calls, no email bleeps, no anything that can get in the way of my writing. But I also do not want the certain problems that can cause. Listen, I should say, maybe this is you. There are plenty of people who live in focus mode all the time. This focus mode for when, I don't know, they're at work, this one for the weekend, this one when they go to a particular deli, I don't know. I'm not sure I have the patience really to set them all up, and as it happens, I am sure that I have these problems that can mean, no, that actually do mean I have got to limit my use of focus modes. But for now, the objective is to shut out all phone calls, all messages, all email bleeps. Didn't I just say interruptions as a summary? Shut out all interruptions, notifications too, everything. Got to think, that sounds an awful lot like airplane mode. But with airplane mode turned on, neither you or I can research a fact on the internet. Let's call it that, research on the internet. We can't email an editor asking, could they please phone us? We're waiting, you know. Plus, even with airplane mode on, I have actually had my iPhone ring with a phone call anyway, because I got a Wi-Fi call. I was here, I was on Wi-Fi and it rang. So to really stop everything and everyone, you could switch off your iPhone, your iPad and your Mac. Only I would then find it a little tricky to write on those. I mean, you know, the word can't be way down. Quality might be, oh, stop looking at me like that, okay. It doesn't matter, you're not going to do this. You are not going to switch everything off. I'm not judging. I'm also not going to switch anything off either. But instead, we can do this. Here is how to make a quite extreme writing focus mode, or actually any focus mode, if you don't already happen to know. Go to settings on your iPhone. You can do it on anything, but I'm doing the iPhone. Tap the focus, tap the plus sign. It's in the same place on the iPad, and I can't remember where it is on the Mac, but it will be in settings focus. Whichever device you set it up on, you are setting up a focus mode on all of them, and it just happens all together. There is a limit though. You can only have 10 focus modes, up to 10. And honestly, it's really surprising how easy it is to hit that limit, even when you're just piddling about trying out different ideas. But okay, control yourself, William. Have 10. We've tapped plus. And we get this list. I'm not really sure the point of all of these options, because I mean, if I tap fitness or gaming or reading or any of these, well, what I get is almost exactly the same empty blank focus mode ready to be edited on, but it's called reading focus, fitness focus, or whatever. I mean, I've been through all of these default settings, yeah, gaming, reading, whatever. I'm such a gamer, such a fitness guy, yeah. they just don't do much, except I think actually there's a nice thing in the fitness one. It includes a workout bit. Fitness mode can automatically switch on when you start a workout kind of thing. And that's good, that's clever. But as useful as that one is, none of the rest, I'm going to go for customized. Let's start from scratch. And starting from scratch means naming it writing. Good title. I would happen to like a restful colour. I don't fully know why, but why not? And I've got to get rid of that smiley face icon because that is far too irritating. So, well, let's not spend our lives looking for an icon. Bookmark icon, that'll do me. Next is some kind of overall instructions that I'm sure you will stop to read. And now tapping to carry on customizing focus, which means starting with this. This is a section where you choose who, the people that you want to allow to interrupt you. Now, you or I, we could either go painfully slowly through our entire contact list saying, well, this person can't call, that person can't, I'm never talking to her again. All right, that one can come through fine if you must. Or vastly more sensibly, you can say here, nobody can call me. Nobody except for her and him and, all right, the family if they need. I do keep saying calls, but actually this is any interruption, calls, texts, emails, all of them. If I add somebody to this choose people to allow list, then they can interrupt whenever they want and in whatever way they want because I like them or because I'm working for them. I like them or they're working, so that means either they're dear to me or I'm expensive to them. Sometimes, by the way, and I really don't know why, when you do this, you are going to find that your iPhone has already automatically selected a couple of people without you picking them. Maybe it's an AI suggestion based on who calls you the most often. Could it possibly be just some sort of overhang from whenever it was I last tried focus modes? I don't think so, but I don't know. But whatever the reason, I'm saying I don't want anyone interrupting. So I just, if they were there, I deleted them. On to the next. This next bit is actually specifically about calls. For some reason, I can't say nobody. I can't say no one can call me. I have to pick an option that in theory lets some people or some groups through. However, what I can do is choose allowed people only. And since I just very deliberately set up that there are no allowed people, that's effectively telling the entire world where to go. That's a bit rude way of saying it. This is a peculiar way of phrasing it all, but it kind of works. I think it's a bit clunky, and so is this. The next button is now done instead of next, yet there are next things you need to do. Tap done, go back to this main screen, and then tap on apps to do the next bit, which is about which of your apps can annoy you. And in this case, I really don't understand this. When I tried this again, my brand new writing focus mode was already set to allow notifications from apps I definitely don't want. I definitely didn't choose them. And actually, in some cases, they're ones I don't even use much. One of them was the App Store. Why would I choose to allow the App Store to bleep at me? Anyway, same as with people, I just deleted everything my writing focus mode assumed I wanted. And I know you know this, but just so I've said it to be clear, this is deleting them all from being able to interrupt you when you're in this focus mode. It doesn't, remove any apps from your iPhone. It doesn't change any settings about them. So anyway, now we're done with this bit, or rather, we're done with all of the settings. How to describe this? To do with other people contacting us and with apps kind of bleeping at us. There is still more you can do that is entirely for you and my benefit. It's for our peace of mind, really, including how you can change what apps appear to be available to you at all. You can change what the wallpaper is or what home screen you're using on the iPhone, all within every focus mode. And there are ways to avoid the certain problems that I keep ominously hinting at. Let's deal with the problems. I've left you hanging long enough. There are two of them. I think two of them that affect me. One is that if you make an extreme writing focus mode and turn it on, Well, okay, you're not going to get any calls or messages until you turn it off. But since you turned it on because you needed to concentrate on your writing, well, you are a better person than I am if you can remember to switch the thing back off again when you've finished the writing. You go for days like this. Oh, it's very quiet around it. Instead of that, trying to remember, you can instead swipe down again on Control Center, tap on the word focus, and then rather than just tapping on the focus mode you want, well, do all of this, but tap on the ellipses next to the name of the focus mode you want, and then you get this right there. That's an answer for 1 hour. Tap that to have this focus mode turn on, but look for the quality of information I have for you. This focus mode will turn itself off again after, would it be 60 minutes? Are you taking notes? There are other options here, and I think that the most interesting ones anyway, are this one, until I leave this location, which is just great, isn't it? Go to your local library, your local archive, turn this on, and when you head out of the door, know that the writing focus mode turns itself off again and the world is back bothering you. Or until the end of this event, you don't always see this one. I love it when you do that. If you have an event in your calendar and you are doing this writing focus mode during the times of that event, you get this option. Tremendous. Except what I'm making is an extreme writing focus mode. If it was just a general writing focus mode, well, I'd allow you to call through, for example. But as it is extreme and I'm trying to cut everybody and everything out, I can't actually afford to do that very often. I mean, I'm so important. That's what it is, isn't it? I can't be out of contact. People need me. Yeah, I really can't though, because of work things. I mean, I can't just do this for hours at a time. I can't do it, Monday to Friday, 7 till 8 a.m. I can't do anything like that, although you can schedule a focus mode to turn itself on and off. I can't guarantee when I will be able to write and when I will need this extreme concentration. So what I want is to be able to, turn it on for an hour, but maybe just turn it on for 15 minutes or half an hour or some combination like that, and still have it turn itself off in case I forget. For that, you need shortcuts. Make a shortcut that turns on the writing focus mode for 15 minutes, or another one that turns it on for an hour, one for half an hour. I'm thinking, one each just for convenience, but you could do one big shortcut that asks you. I suppose I'm kind of glossing over that, aren't I, the shortcuts thing, but yeah, it's kind of deliberate. I want to get us on to something a bit more nebulous, a bit more, only writers will get this, that kind of thing. And okay, I've kind of gone off the rails a bit here. There is a second problem, which is this. Any focus mode that limits who can call you may stop people you want to be able to ring, and it's outside your control. I get asked reasonably often to do things on BBC Radio, for instance, and that call could be from any producer on any station, anywhere in the UK. I was just trying to think whether international ones, and once, yes. There's no way for me to know what number they'll call from, so there is no way for me to tell a focus mode to let those calls through. And this is actually the reason I don't use focus modes as much as I could, as much as I believe so many people do. By the way, if you're the opposite to me and you do want to block all callers unless they're already in your address book, well, actually, you can do that really easily, even without a focus mode. On your iPhone, go to Settings, Phone, and then just tap to turn on Silence Unknown Callers. I envy you there. Now then, a nice nebulousy bit. All logic, right, and practicalities, we don't need this, but we do. When I switch on my writing focus mode, you gathered, it cuts out all the interruptions, fine. But it also changes my wallpaper on the iPhone and the iPad to this one, a photograph of theatre seats. It also seemingly removes apps from my home screen. It appears to only show me what apps I have decided I need when I'm writing, or various combinations like that. Go back into the focus mode setup, tap on this bit where it says customize screens. You get these three choose buttons, which left to right are choosing and customizing the lock screen, what you see when you pick up your iPhone. Then in the middle there's this one of choosing the home screens when you open the iPhone, the app screens if you like. And then lastly, the Apple Watch. You can change the face on the Apple Watch. Two great examples of why this is good. Overnight, my Apple Watch changes its face to this big numbers one, so I can see it blearily in the night. An example for apps, well, weekend before last, I ran a workshop where I was asking young writers to research various journalism topics. I set up a workshop focus mode so that I could then actually hand my iPhone over to one of the young writers, and all they could see on it, all they could get to it, and it was the Safari browser to do their research. I mean, it's not like it's cast iron security. They could have got around it with a breath if they wanted to, but it did the job. This is what you need. Use that. Off you pop. Doing that requires you setting up different home screens and then using this choose here in the middle one to say which ones you do or do not want shown in a certain focus mode. It takes more fiddling than that sound. One more thing, one finer control, focus filters. I am probably distracted most by email, to the extent that actually I switch off mail for as long as I can on any given day. But then when I need to write and send an email, well, I have to open mail, and then immediately, you know what it's like, I see all of these red badges of unread messages. Except I can use focus filters. You can see I have several email inboxes. I can say that while this focus mode is on, I just do not want to know anything about the Writers Guild email inbox. Sorry, Guild, just picking you as an example. The inbox is still there. I can still go straight into it anytime I want. But instead of showing a red count of unread emails, William, get on with it, read, 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 it just shows me a snoozing crescent moon. The red badge no longer distracts me because I no longer see it, because it's no longer there, until I turn off that focus mode. Listen, you get that shutting out distractions is good, but there has to be, I think there has to be a part of you that thinks, this is quite a lot of fuss, really. I mean, especially when you could just turn the phone off, but set up a focus mode and it will help you. In my case, it can only help every now and again when I really, really must concentrate on writing, when I've got to get something done. But in those times, they are great. And as I say, there are people who are rarely out of some focus mode or another because that suits them, and therefore, of course, maybe it will suit you more than it does me. I think let's see how I get on with my extreme writing focus mode for a while, see if I stick with it. And in the meantime, that's it for this edition of 58 Keys. I think it feels like a kind of work in progress edition, and maybe we'll come back to this, but for now, thank you very much for watching. Go take care of yourself, write more, with or without a focus mode, just write more, it's important. Avoid any interruptions, but write more, and I will see you soon.